He represents finance directors of the UK's largest companies, mainly from the FTSE 100. We're joined by Andy Halford. He's chairman of the 100 Group. He's also Vodafone's chief financial officer. It's wonderful to have you in the studio, Mr. Halford, to get this perspective from business. What's your number one wish from the Chancellor today, if you could have anything you wanted?
I think the key thing is about growth and is about confidence. And we need to get the consumer confidence back so that businesses can start to invest again and start with confidence to take on more employment and get more jobs out there. So tax rates are going to be absolutely fundamental. We've already got corporate tax rates that are coming down. That is a great trend. We need to think about the top rates of tax to encourage more entrepreneurial activity, but it is all going to be about growth.
Well, it sounds like you might get some sort of reduction in the corporate tax rate today. It's around 26% at the moment. Perhaps it could come down a couple of percentage points, but where does it need to be in the longer term to make Britain more competitive?
I think there are two things that are important. One, businesses want to have predictability, so they want to know over the long term where tax rates are going to go. If they're going to make investments today, they want to have that confidence. And already the government has committed that they'll take the rate down further below the 26 level that we're at today. I think something that is in the low 20s would be internationally competitive, would be good enough to attract investment into the country and to make sure that companies have got the confidence to invest.
What kind of timescale is realistic to get that down to the low 20s?
I think it is probably a year at a time. As the government has already committed, they are on a track to actually get it down, but it is over a period of time.
I'm curious about the other taxes that businesses incur. For every £1, for example, that you pay on your corporate tax rate, you're paying another £1.56?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What's that down to? National insurance?
Yeah, so national insurance, business rates and things like that. So corporate tax is not the only part of this. In fact, if you look at the other taxes that businesses collect, about £6 is collected for the government for every £1 that is actually paid in corporation tax.
So do you want tax simplification? Is that a big wish as well?
Yes, it is. Tax simplification is a huge wish. It has become more and more complicated in this country over the years, and we have got books written on the subject. So I think most businesses would really, really like to see some simplification, and I think they'd like to see some reduction in the amount of regulation, which seems to be ever on the increase, not just in UK, but from Europe. The red tape, absolutely.
Okay, it was interesting to hear you talk about the consumer before, because somebody's got to start this thing going, the economy. It's either the consumer or it's businesses, and businesses are the ones with a lot of money on their balance sheet. So what can the government do today, other than inching down that corporate tax rate, to get you guys to spend money? Hire people.
I think most of us would love to spend money, but equally we are aware that consumer confidence is not high at the moment. So I think what the government needs to do is to be very clear that they are pro-growth, that they are going to encourage businesses, they want the investment, and if they can get tax rates and other things to do that, off the back of that will come spending, off the back of that will become employment, and then we can get the whole engine moving forwards again.
This problem of youth unemployment is not just an issue in the UK, it's an issue all over Europe. But what specifically can be done in this space to try and get young people back to work? Would you like a tax break to get you to hire more young people?
Yes, I think the youth unemployment is a huge concern, and we do not want a lost generation in here. So everything the government can do to offer incentives, tax breaks may be part of the answer here. But clearly we have a very, very educated workforce in the UK, and at the moment we're in a particular phase. So tax breaks and anything that can be done to get youth into the workforce is strongly to be encouraged.
Is the government on the right path? Because it's interesting to see, you know, the free market orthodox people in the US following some very interventionist policies, while the UK, and it seems to be working because you've got US growth picking up, while the UK is really sticking to austerity. Should it be doing that?
I think this country needs to focus more on the growth agenda. At the end of the day, the world is becoming much more global. Many of our competitors are global businesses, and we have just got to make sure that we attract a fair share of their inward investment into this country, as well as growing our own businesses. And I think creating that environment so that both international businesses and domestic businesses are here, want to come here, and regard the UK as a great place to be based, that is absolutely central to this.
So this should be focused on growth. Andy Halford, CFO of Vodafone, and today chairman of the 100 Group, representing the UK's finance directors, the UK's biggest companies, to the government. Thank you very much.